Hello and welcome into this afternoon's broadcast, everybody. Conference Finals weekend continues in the 2021 MLS Cup Playoffs. The Portland Timbers knocked out Real Salt Lake yesterday in the Western Conference Final, and now they await the winner of this matchup between the Philadelphia Union and New York City FC in the Eastern Conference Final. For the Philadelphia Union, they are led by head coach Jim Curtin. Countering him is New York City FC's Norwegian head coach in Ronnie Deila. Well, for Philadelphia, the big storyline is 11 players, including a number of key players, at home for this matchup today due to the COVID and health safety protocols. So the Philadelphia Union certainly undermanned this afternoon. An unfamiliar lineup, although there are some familiar aspects of it, particularly with the front line. The referee for this one is Ted Unkel. Corey Parker, Corey Richardson are your assistant referees for this one. Well, the Philadelphia Union, despite being undermanned with plenty of key players out in COVID health and safety protocols, it's a packed house in Chester, Pennsylvania. 20,000 on hand at Subaru Park, and they're trying to get behind their team this afternoon as they'll try to make the improbable achievable tonight. Well, New York City might be the lower seed, but they are in a run of momentum right now, to say the least, coming off of a huge victory over the New England Revolution. The game I was in attendance for. Sad to see my Revs get eliminated, but New York City FC certainly, as I mentioned, riding a wave of momentum right now after knocking out the best team in MLS in the New England Revolution. So should be an interesting one as Philadelphia are in the blue, attacking from left to right, the dark blue that is, and New York City in their traditional light blue colors, attacking from right to left. I'll get to the starting lineups momentarily, as that's lost momentarily in the midfield, but one back by the Union. On the left wing, it's 18-year-old Jack McGlynn. And now it's Jamiro Montero. Cross is blocked out for a Philadelphia throw. Well, just quickly, looking at the Philadelphia starting 11, Matt Freese, starting goalkeeper. No Andre Blake. He's one of the players in COVID protocol. Four at the back, Nathan Harriel and Oliver Mbaizo are the outside backs. Stuart Finley and Aurelian Collin are the center back pairing. Collin has only played 1 minute in the last 2 years, as this is a shot from distance sent well over the bar by Daniel Gazdag. Rather, that was Jose Martinez. I beg your pardon. Goal kick for New York City. In the midfield is Jake McGlynn, Jose Martinez, and Leon Flack. And then up top, Daniel Gazdag, Kasper Shabilko, and Jamiro Montero. For New York City FC, Sean Johnson in goal. Malte Amundsen and Tavon Gray, the outside backs. Alexander Callens and Maxime Cano. The center back pairing, the two holding mids are Alfredo Morales and about a 70% James Sands, who's clearly been battling through injury. Rest of the midfield consisting of Santiago Rodriguez, Maxi Morales, and Jesus Medina. The one change of note is that after Tati Castellanos, the leading goal scorer in MLS, got a red card against the Revolution, it's Heber, the Brazilian, filling in for the suspended Castellanos. So we know Heber is a player capable of scoring goals, but he hasn't had a whole lot of playing time this season, so you wonder where his fitness levels are at and how his finishing ability is in front of goal. We shall see. McGlynn takes the free kick here for Philadelphia. Headed into the box, and now away by New York City. It could be a counter, except a foul called by Ted Unkel. Tavon Gray committing the foul. And I'll tell you what, the Union not backing down early. It's a young side, and as I mentioned, a lot of players in this starting lineup have not started at all this season, or have only started a very few amount of games in this season. So it's definitely an interesting spot to be in for a lot of these players, many of them very young, or at least a couple of them very young, having to play in such a big game like this with an MLS Cup appearance on the line. Here's the free kick clipped into the 18-yard box. Now headed to the edge of the area, but the flag is up. Offside called. The winner of this one will head to Portland. We know the Timbers will host MLS Cup, as they finished with more points than both of these sides in the regular season. So Portland will stay at home, and it'll be a trip out west for one of these sides. In 6 days' time is when that MLS Cup will kick off. It's out of bounds for a New York City throw-in. Tavon Gray quickly takes it. Maxi Morales. And that will be a foul called against City. Tell you what, it is a really great atmosphere at Subaru Park. Philadelphia Union faithful packing the house right along the Delaware River. When that place fills up, it's really a great soccer-specific stadium to be at. Header by Jose Martinez. Free kick to New York. A lot of fouls in the early stages. Both teams just trying to feel each other out. On the ball is Amundsen. Bit of pressure and a nice job by Montero to force the turnover. McGlynn wins a throw-in. The Union, the 2 seed in the East. New York, the 4 seed. 3 points separated these teams in the regular season standings. Header forward and trying to chase it down was Daniel Gazdag, and New York City concede a throw-in. Both teams won on penalty kicks in their respective Eastern Conference semifinals. New York City, as mentioned, coming out on top against the Revolution, and then Philadelphia defeating Nashville at home. Looking for the switch here is James Sands. That effort is blocked, and now it'll roll out for a Union throw. What's up, Shauna? Welcome in. Glad to see you here. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Should be an interesting one, really, this game. With a full squad, I probably would have picked Philadelphia to win this game, but with 11 players out, I don't know. I'm leaning New York. I really am. I think New York City are going to pull it off. If the Union were able to get the job done, what a story that would be with so many starters out in COVID protocol. Down the sideline, it's chased down by Mbaizo. Mbaizo taken down edge of the area, but it's a clean challenge according to Ted Uncle. Play continues. Mbaizo still down. In with the header is McGlynn. And now New York City in possession. We play on with Mbaizo still apparently down at the other end of the pitch. Down the right wing, Tavon Gray commits a foul. And now will there be a possible VAR check? On that previous incident at the other end. We'll see. And now Martinez is getting involved with Medina. So already plenty of chippiness. You can tell both of these teams clearly know what's on the line. And Mbaizo back to his feet as he slowly walks back towards midfield. Meanwhile, still some arguments taking place as I look back at the replay of that challenge on Mbaizo. And yeah, I don't really think there was enough there. I think actually New York City defender got the ball, couldn't quite tell who it was there. I'd like to see it again, though, as Alfredo Morales will switch the point of attack. It's New York City posing a threat down the right wing. Tavon Gray, Maxi Morales. In the end, James Sands dealt with that coolly. 9 minutes gone at Subaru Park. Here is Gray. Couldn't quite connect with Hebert, but it's won back by New York City. Settled by Amundsen. Amundsen to the middle. James Sands. Back to the right wing. No score early on. Eastern Conference Final. Here comes the cross near post. Hebert couldn't get there. Off his line was Matt Freese. Really his first action of the afternoon. Freese filling in for Andre Blake. No easy shoes to fill there. Andre Blake, one of the best goalkeepers in MLS. And he is one of the 11 players in COVID protocol that have to watch this one from home. Just really unfortunate when all is said and done. And it does remind us that, COVID is still a factor, even though it's not as bad as, of course, a year ago, for example, or even 8 months ago. In any given moment, COVID can still, affect professional teams in any league, really. And it happened at a bad time for the Union, but trying to overcome those obstacles. Free kick awarded to the Union. James Sands committing the foul. Taking down Jamiro Montero, who is from the Cape Verde Islands. Yeah, that's late from Sands. Just a lazy left foot. And now the Union ready for the free kick. A good look for the home side early. Sean Johnson sets up his wall for NYCFC. New York City holding their line, edge of the box. McGlynn takes, going for goal, but Johnson had it read all the way. He'll roll it out to Maxime Cano. Cano. That deflects out, and they'll give it to Philadelphia. Don Garber, commissioner of MLS, in attendance for this one. What an MLS season it has been after a weird season last year due to COVID-19. It was great to have a normal season once more with no real interruptions. This will be controlled by Johnson. 13th minute, awaiting the first goal. Should mention, this is the very first time for both of these clubs getting to the Eastern Conference Final. This is the furthest either club has been in postseason for club history for both sides, as this is tracked down along the end line. Now edge of the area. It's Santi Rodriguez. Rodriguez trying to combine with Maxi Morales, but in the end, the ball trickles through and into the hands of Matt Freese. New York City will move it across the back line. Now it comes over to the left wing. Wide for Amundsen. Stolen by the Union. Down is McGlynn for Philly. Play continues. Gazdag. And now Montero will play it out intentionally so McGlynn can be attended to. Oh, yeah, that was a bit awkward there. Got his left leg caught. Knee-to-knee collision as well between he and, I think, Amundsen. Yeah, it was Amundsen and McGlynn. But McGlynn appears to be just fine. Quarter hour played, 0-0. Into the air from Amundsen. And now some space opens up for New York down the right wing. They'll move it all the way back for Sean Johnson. Johnson wide for Callens. Header flicked on by Santi Rodriguez. Now a bouncing ball in midfield. A bit sloppy as New York City finally settle. Neither team has really played to the level that they want, but that's what tends to happen early on in big games like these. You expect the quality to pick up as the half continues. Speaking earlier about Aurelien Collin, the Frenchman, center back for Philadelphia. He scored in MLS Cup for Sporting Kansas City 8 years ago to the day. So he is capable of leading a team and coming up big when they need it, but that was 2013. It's been a long time since then. Collin getting up there in age, it has to be said. And as I said earlier, he's played 1 minute in the last 2 seasons. The punt here from Matt Freese. Looks like the flag went up. Delayed offside call. This is Finley. Jose Martinez just had too much weight on the pass, looking to link up with Gazdag. Rodriguez going wide with it. Maxi Morales going for the switch. Successfully finds Amundsen. Amundsen combining with Medina. What's going on, Predator Roblox? Welcome into the stream. I would love to show the screen, but I am not allowed to because of YouTube's copyright restrictions. So I am not allowed to, or else I'll get copyrighted, and I do not want my channel to be, suspended or anything like that. So can't take any risks. But this game can be found on ABC and ESPN Deportes in the U.S. So that's where you can find it. And if you stick around, I would greatly appreciate that, as I'll be bringing you the play-by-play throughout. And if you're not able to watch the game, well, you could just, treat this as a radio broadcast, if you please. As Philadelphia will win a throw in here. Winner takes on the Portland Timbers in MLS Cup. 19th minute. New York City will move it wide. Winning the throw-in is Alexander Callens. This is popped in the air, settled in the midfield by James Sands. Space opening up on the right side. But the through ball is cut off nicely by Mbaizo. Mbaizo sends it to the New York City end. 20 minutes in the books from Subaru Park in Chester, Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia. Scoreless. A lot of pressure there, and a foul called as Sands was hoping the whistle would come, and it did. Yeah, definitely a slow start to the game for both teams, I think. Really hasn't been there haven't really been many talking points so far. Expect that to change as we get into the second part of the first half. Here's a Munson linking up with Santiago Rodriguez. What's good, Todd? Welcome in, man. Hope you're doing well. Yes, I do plan on covering the Patriots game tomorrow. Yeah, right. Tuesday morning your time. Yeah. What is that? A 1:15 in the morning start for you, Todd? Yeah. Yeah, no, I will be on the call for that. Unless something random pops up in my life, I do plan to be on the call for that. So yes, absolutely, Todd. I'm super pumped. Can't wait for that game, man. Cannot wait. What's going on, Pork Friedrius? Hope I'm pronouncing that somewhat correctly over on Twitch. Who am I rooting for? Not really anyone. I mean, I guess Philadelphia. Listen, I don't like either of these teams, but I am a diehard Revolution fan. I was at the Eastern Conference semifinal game when the Revs sadly lost to New York City FC in penalties. So just because New York City beat my Revolution, I think I'm pulling for Philly. I don't want New York to make MLS Cup. Plus, as a Boston sports fan, I just really can't stand New York teams as a whole, and I don't really like Philly either. But I'd rather have them go through, particularly since the Union are an underdog story for this one, with 11 players out due to COVID protocols. So. Oh, I got you. Sorry, I could not make that. I could not really make that connection to split it up. Yes, pork fried Royce. Got it. Like Marco Royce. Yes. Sorry about that. That's my bad. What's going on, Hadim? Welcome in. Glad to have you here. Do I think they're gonna have more than three? Do I think the game is gonna have more than 3 goals? Nah. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I could see this being like a 1-1 game that goes to penalties. For sure. Yeah, absolutely, Todd. I'm super excited for tomorrow, man. You're a New York City fan? I'll just call you Royce. You're a New York City fan? Yeah. That's that's all right, man. That's all right. I mean, you guys deserve to win, so it is what it is. But that was rough. My seats were at the end where the penalty kicks took place as well. So it was, I mean, it was a great atmosphere at Gillette Stadium, but unfortunately the result didn't go our way as Santiago Rodriguez is taken down. A foul by Jamiro Montero, who has, let's just say, an interesting haircut to say the least. I think that's a heart shaved out on his forehead, which is intriguing. Wow, Rodriguez actually megged Montero, I believe, and that's what prompted Montero to commit the foul. 24th minute, and we're still awaiting the opening goal in the Eastern Conference Final. You're watching all the way from Senegal. That's awesome, man. Yeah, cheers. Cheers, man. I'm from the US, so I hope you're having a wonderful day. And that's fantastic that you're tuning in from Senegal. Todd is from England, so we definitely got a worldwide audience, which is fantastic. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Sadio Mane, even though I'm not a Liverpool fan. Um, I've always liked Mane, all the way dating back to his Southampton days. So he must be an absolute legend in your country. 25th minute, and I'm looking forward to African Cup of Nations in January. It's always a fun tournament to tune into, as this is taken down the right wing by Gazdag, loses possession, and now Sean Johnson clears. That's a foul committed by Santi Rodriguez. Down is Jack McGlynn for the Union. Yeah, Todd, sounds good. I'll see you tomorrow, man. See you tomorrow. Absolutely. Let's see the replay here. Yeah, McGlynn was essentially sandwiched. Philadelphia winning the free kick, and Bizo standing over it for the Union. This is floated to the edge of the area. New York City's Tavon Gray will clear. Headed forward to Shabilko, the Polish striker for Philadelphia. All the way back to Matt Freese. Freese is Andre Blake's replacement. Medina controls nicely. Now Rodriguez turns into space. Rodriguez laying it out wide for Amundsen. Cross delivered. Colin gets a touch. And then Bizo kept it in play. Philly can't quite clear, though. That's Sands. Rodriguez wide for Amundsen. Back again for James Sands. Makes a nice move. Amundsen again looking to cross. Thinks better. Sands. 1v1. And he'll win a corner kick, I do believe. Yep. Corner awarded to New York City. And this is better from the visiting side. Heading over to take the set piece is Maxi Morales. Morales will deliver the in-swinger. Rather, he'll play it short. Now it's sent in towards Santi Rodriguez. That ball stays in play as his effort was blocked, and another corner kick won by New York City. This time, Jesus Medina getting it done near the corner flag. And Maxi Morales will try again. There's not a lot of space in that corner to take those corner kicks, is there? Morales asking a cameraman to just move a little bit back as it's headed out of the box, and a poor pass out of play. It will be a Union throw-in. Philadelphia crowd loving that. Thanks so much, James. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I really appreciate that, man. Yeah, I love everything about sports broadcasting and commentating games. So I'm gonna try to keep going with it. I aspire to be a sports broadcaster in the future, and yeah, getting a lot of good experience, at my school. And I was actually at Gillette Stadium both Thursday and Friday covering high school Super Bowls for football, which was a lot of fun. Um, I wasn't a commentator for those games, but I do commentate and do play by play for a lot of my school's sporting events, which is yeah, great experience. And I'm also going to be the PA announcer for the hockey team at my school, and I'll also do a couple of basketball games. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to what the future has in store. I'm currently a senior in high school, so I'll find out relatively shortly, where I get accepted and what college I'll ultimately attend. This is calling on the ball for the Union. Comes back out to the midfield, sent wide to Mbaizo. New York City win it. But that's won back nicely by Montero. Montero defended by Amundsen. Back it comes for Jack McGlynn. Crossed by Mbaizo and sliding in to save the day for New York City. All right, I am back. There we go. Hopefully, um, the connection is back. It looks like it is. Sorry about that inconvenience. My internet just went out on me, but do not worry. We didn't miss anything notable, so that is good. I'm glad a goal wasn't scored while my internet cut out there. Oh, that's awesome, James. That's awesome, man. Yeah, no, I can completely relate, man. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I appreciate you watching my commentary from your phone. A reminder that the La Liga season continues next Sunday when the Madrid derby takes place. Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, 3 Eastern time. Should be a good one. And reminder that Saturday will be MLS Cup. And I do plan to be on the call for that. New York City on the ball here. The winner of this will head to Portland to take on the Timbers for all the glory in 6 days' time. 33rd minute. Driving forward is Callens. Hebert. Now Callens. Callens from Peru. Santi Rodriguez wide for Amundsen. Good defending. As it's won back by Mbaizo. And he intelligently plays it off of the New York City player to win the throw-in. About a dozen minutes left in the opening half of play. Glad to have your company in the Eastern Conference Final, the 2021 MLS Cup Playoffs. Winning possession is Jamiro Montero. Montero playing it into the middle. A bit of a risky move, but connects with a teammate. Now this ball floated over the top. Header won by Amundsen. Good combination play. Hebert receives the pass in an onside position. New York City could be in business here. Medina for Gray. Back to Medina. New York City maintained possession momentarily. This is Maxi Morales. Morales going wide. And that's off of the Union. New York City awarded the throw-in. What's good, Jeffrey? Glad to see you, man. Always glad to have you here. I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I wish the Revolution were playing right now. I wish I was at Gillette Stadium right now watching the Revolution play Philadelphia in the Eastern Conference Final. But hey, here I am at home since the Revolution lost on Tuesday. But I've kind of gotten over it, sort of. But yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I've had a pretty good weekend, so can't complain. Who do I hope will win the game today? I mean, I don't really like either team, but I would rather see Philly win just because New York City knocked out the Revs and Philadelphia are without 11 of their players who are in COVID protocol, including a number of star players on this team. So it would be a great story to see the Union pull this off and make MLS Cup with a completely undermanned roster. Here's a New York City free kick. Good ball by Medina. And the header sent wide. It looked like Callens got on the end of it. Goal kick for the Union as we enter the later stages of the first half. Freeze takes the goal kick. And Bizo gets a touch. That ball kept in play. First time, not the second time by Shabilko. That's a poor throw-in. Given away by Amundsen. High into the air, headed forward by Stuart Finley. Finley, Scott. And now it's a great through ball, slipped in to Shabilko, but the shot's right at the keeper. Sean Johnson wasn't made to work that much. Yeah, it was a nice through ball, slipped in by Montero. Here come Philly again in the box. Pass, though, turned over to NYCFC. And Tavon Gray's pass is an errant one, and you can feel Philadelphia feeding off the crowd here. And the crowd really getting into it. Jose Martinez signaling for the crowd to get fired up here. And here is Martinez. From a long way out, his shot blocked at the edge of the box. And now New York City win possession. However, it's turned over in the middle to Jamiro Montero. Montero going down, a clean takeaway by Hebert. 38th minute of play, still scoreless. And another turnover by NYCFC. This is Mbaizo. Montero connecting with Jose Martinez. And that ball will be too far ahead for Mbaizo. Cleared there by Amundsen. No look pass. The Union once again in the attacking third. McGlynn. Martinez. That pass off the mark from Gazdag. Now Hebert controls. Throw-in awarded to the Union. No, they'll blow the whistle. And the assistant referee awards New York City the throw-in. Philadelphia clearly thought it was theirs. Yeah, I agree, James. Thankfully, this game isn't in Yankee Stadium. Yeah, that's a joke of a stadium to be playing professional soccer matches in. Uh, so yeah, I'm with you there. Throw in for Mbizo. And surprisingly, it's been Philadelphia with much of the possession lately. Cowan's under a bit of pressure. Now Sands battling off Montero, but Montero takes it away. Finley. A bit too cheeky there was Jose Martinez, but the Union quickly won it back. 5 minutes plus stoppage time remaining in the opening 45 from Subaru Park, just outside of Philadelphia. The Union have it. And in tight space, it was well worked by Leon Flach, and the German earns the free kick, and the first booking of the game will come right here. Maxi Morales, shown yellow. Morales pleading his case, but it's not going to do much. The yellow card probably deserving here. Let's see. Yeah, that's a yellow card. The Philadelphia fans creating a wonderful atmosphere. 20,000 on hand, a packed Subaru Park. Here comes the free kick on the far side. Let's see what the Union can do. The whistle of Ted Enkel echoes through Subaru Park. Here's the ball floated in. Header wide. There was a lot of bodies in the area. I believe Colin got ahead to it. And now they'll have to track all the way back defensively. But play is halted momentarily because a New York City player is down on the ground. And that appears to be Tavon Gray. Gray a bit slow to get to his feet. Yeah, there were 3 New York City players, as well as Colin, who went down. Everyone appears to be okay in the end. See how much stoppage time there is with just under 3 minutes left until we reach the 45-minute mark. NYCFC will have a throw. Back it comes to Sean Johnson. Amundsen. Back to Cowens. Johnson again. Oh, and it's a risky pass up the middle by Johnson. But he gets back to his line in time, or else it could have been disaster as Flach tried to go for the chip. Yeah, Johnson, a really risky pass up the middle. And actually deflected off of Flach and nearly went in. I don't think he really had much of a say in where that ball was heading. What's going on? I only know the English language. I know a bit of Spanish, but I do not know what to call you. But I appreciate you tuning in nonetheless. I really do. In what place do I rank the MLS league in the world? First place England, second Italy, and what? Well, no, I don't think Italy's second. I would say Spain is second as Shabilko will move it back. Yeah, I order it England, Spain, Italy, Germany, Portugal, France, and then I don't really know after that. Probably Netherlands, Russia. I would put MLS around. I would probably say around like 12, maybe. I would put them around there in like the 12 to 15 range. I'd say for top leagues in the world. If I'm being honest. No, I don't think quite top 10. I don't think quite top 10. In a couple years, maybe. I mean, the league is getting better. Trust me, I'm a huge fan of MLS, being from the United States and living here. I love MLS. And I'd love to see it be a top 10 league. I don't think just yet they're top 10. Couple years down the road, I could see it being a possibility. There will be 1 minute added on to the end of the first half here. Philadelphia with a free kick on the way. Jack McGlynn standing over it. McGlynn sends one to the box. And now it's floated towards the head of Collin, who goes down. He's shouting for a penalty, but the flag was up. Offside called against the veteran defender. And looking back on the replay, the AR certainly had it right. And that might be the last opportunity of the first 45. And it will. Halftime whistle blows. No score at the break. 45 minutes played and 45 to go. It's the Philadelphia Union 0, New York City FC 0 in the Eastern Conference Final. At least 45 more minutes to decide who will face the Portland Timbers in the 2021 MLS Cup. Plenty at stake. Bit of a cagey affair, as I think we expected. Here are the thoughts of Philadelphia coach Jim Curtin.
The guys were relentless. And again, pressure is something that changes players. So, again, we know the pressure is not on us on the day. We have the crowd behind us. And I think if we play 45 minutes like that, we can get a breakthrough in the goal.
Jim, you go into it. You came into it as well, looking at it, saying, get to halftime and then we'll adjust. Any adjustments?
I like where we're at right now. We have a couple guys on the bench in Aronson and Fontana that can change a game and get a goal for us. So it's set up well so far, and we still have a lot of work to do because it's a quality opponent, but we certainly made them not look like themselves. I'll just say that.
Thanks, Jim. I'll be in the locker room.
All right. There are the thoughts of Jim Curtin, certainly optimistic and reasonably so, with a scoreless scoreline at the break. No goals so far. Why do I think the national women's soccer team in the U.S. is always on top and the men are always mediocre? I think it's simple. I think women's soccer is here in this country is at the top when it comes to worldwide, or at least at the top with some of the top European countries. And the fact of the matter is there aren't enough competitive national teams in the women's game. Globally speaking, there are plenty of teams that are climbing the ladder, which is great to see. And there's more teams that are starting to really compete with the U.S. women's national team, but there aren't enough quality sides worldwide. Whereas on the men's side, you have so many great countries around the world when it comes to men's soccer. So I think women's soccer just still needs more development worldwide. And I think that's when we'll see a lot of countries start to catch up to the U.S. women's national team. They'll still be at the top, but for the U.S. men, we're behind when it comes to our development of soccer in our country compared to the rest of the world and the top European countries. And there's just too many quality national teams, globally speaking, that's why the U.S. men struggle to do well, to something, even qualify. Well, they should qualify for every World Cup. That's not an excuse, but I think those are the primary reasons why. I'll be back after the break. It's halftime at Subaru Park, no score. And welcome into the halftime report, everybody. And yeah, there you go, James. There you go. Yep. Uh, Title IX legislation during the Cold War created the conditions for women's athletics in the USA, whereas other countries in the world, women are just starting to, play soccer regularly, which, it's sad how it took that long, but it's just the fact of the matter. All right, going over some of the first half highlights. I mean, there weren't many, to be fair. It wasn't a first half where a lot happened to really discuss. But with that being said, you got to tip your cap to the Philadelphia Union. They've played discipline so far. Um, they put up a real good fight in the opening 45 minutes, considering a lot of these guys in the starting lineup have not played much this season. Shabilko had that half chance for the Union, which was a comfortable save in the end for Johnson. But if I'm the Union right now, I'm feeling really good about myself. And Jim Curtin seemed to really share that sentiment with his halftime interview, because New York City FC, as Jim Curtin said, haven't really looked like themselves. They've been just not, they haven't been able to connect passes. They have had 61% of the possession, but really haven't been able to do much with that possession. And you know, to prove that point, I should say, Philadelphia have outshot New York City 4-2 so far. Although the shots on both sides, haven't been real testy for either goalkeeper. So I expect the chances to increase in the second half. More quality chances is what I mean, because both teams obviously know what's on the line. I feel like we got some goals coming in the second half. That's just my feeling as we get ready for the final 45 minutes. And as I said at the top, Philadelphia the higher seed, but for those of you who don't know, 11 players on COVID protocol for Philadelphia that aren't able to play today have to watch the game from home, including a number of key players. So the Union are the true underdogs considering the circumstances. If they are able to pull this out, that would be an unbelievable storyline. I really do think so, because New York City are perfectly healthy. Their only absence is Castellanos, but that was to his own fault as he got a red card against the Revolution. Well, coming up after the break, when the halftime report continues, I'll recap the Western Conference Final yesterday, a game I was on the call for when the Portland Timbers took down Real Salt Lake 2-0. That's next. Stay tuned. Welcome back into the halftime report, everybody. Of course, less than 24 hours ago, the Western Conference Final took place, and what a start to the game it was for the Portland Timbers. Felipe Mora getting on the score sheet 5 minutes in, and an own goal created by Santiago Moreno made it 2-0, and Real Salt Lake simply couldn't recover after that. 2-0 the final score. Portland just simply the better side from start to finish. Real Salt Lake's fairy tale run finally comes to an end. And yeah, Timbers, the deserving Western Conference champions. And as a result, they'll get to host MLS Cup. That's their third Western Conference championship. So Portland seems like every year a contender in the West. I think there was just 1 year a couple years ago where they didn't make the playoffs, but that was a complete outlier. Outside of that, the Timbers always a team to watch out for in the West, and they proved that again this year. And I'll tell you what, no matter who they face, New York or Philadelphia in MLS Cup, with that home crowd at Providence Park, that place is going to be rocking. I think home field advantage will be a huge factor, and the Timbers are going to be feeling pretty good about themselves because they have been in form for the last 6 weeks or so. Really, they rolled that good form from the regular season into the postseason, and that's been showing so far in the last couple of weeks. Well, who will Portland's opponent be in MLS Cup in 6 days' time? We'll find out shortly. The second half is next between the Philadelphia Union and New York City FC. No score. Will that change in the second half? Stick around and you'll find out. Final 45 on the way from Subaru Park next. Welcome back as we are ready to go for the second half between Philadelphia and New York City. No score so far. Let's hear the thoughts of New York City head coach Ronnie Dyla.
Maybe have to attack space more. Everybody coming against the ball. It's easy for the center backs and the goalkeeper to play. We have to attack space and then push the sixes higher so we get more pressure on them. Okay, thanks for that insight, Ronnie.
All right, there are the quick thoughts of Ronnie Dyla. And look at this, Philadelphia already with a chance maybe, making a move. And here comes the shot, diving save by Sean Johnson. Wow, right out of the gates, Philadelphia creating an opportunity. In fact, the Union, I believe, made some changes that I wasn't even able to take note of right off the kickoff. Philadelphia with a chance. How about that? And New York City, if that's not a wake-up call, not sure what is. Couple of headers in the midfield. Get you caught up on those Philadelphia changes, if there were any. I got to double check. New York City will move it to the back line. Cowens peels off the defender Shabilko. One back by the Union. Sending it wide is Jose Martinez. And apparently there were no changes. Okay. Actually, there was one. I'll get that in a moment. All the way back, it comes for Matt Freese. Freese, the starting keeper for the Union today. On the ball is Maxime Chanel. That's picked up by Sean Johnson. 48th minute, early second half. New York City will move it to the midfield. This is chipped up by Santiago Rodriguez. And now Mbaizo. Oh, trying to go with the dummy there was Gazdag, but his teammate wasn't quite on the same page. Now Jesus Medina. There were no substitutions. I can confirm that at halftime. Thought there might have been, but there were not. Here comes the switch. It's settled on the near side by Tavon Gray. Gray gets it back from Medina. Trying to cut it into the box. That's blocked, out for a New York City throw. Tavon Gray heads over to take the throw-in. He finds Chanel. Union do well, and now here comes the counter. Driving forward and still going for the Union is Jose Martinez. Martinez setting in the cross. And at the near post was James Sands to get a touch on it. It will be a corner kick for Philadelphia, and the crowd are loving this. Jose Martinez with an impressive individual effort here. all the way from beyond midfield to creating this chance. Here's the in-swinger from the set piece. Ball go all the way through. And now Hebert helping out defensively. He turns it over now. Driving forward is Flack. Flack going down. Philadelphia keep possession. Going wide with it was Jose Martinez. Heavy challenge there. The referee plays advantage. On the ball is Mbaizo, back in the Union's half of the field. Now Finley all the way back for the keeper freeze. Header by Gazdag. Shabilko couldn't get on the end of it. Well, an intriguing start to the second half. New York City once again appeared to be on the back foot. Philadelphia really taking it to them in surprising fashion. Now the Union. 52nd minute of play. Still 0-0 in the Eastern Conference Final of the MLS Cup Playoffs. We'll go all the way back for freeze. Shabilko, could be a chance. Johnson punches it away, but the flag is up and offside is called. What a chance there as Daniel Gazdag was running in behind. But he was in an offside position. Yeah, it was actually headed back towards Johnson by, I believe, Amundsen. Yeah, it was Amundsen. And Johnson had to quickly come into action, not knowing that the attacker Gazdag was offside. Here's Montero, and that pass will be tracked down by Amundsen of New York City. Oh, really, Jeffrey? Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't. I haven't seen the bowl game matchups yet. I know the college football playoff, what the college football playoff matchups are, but I didn't see what any of the bowl games are. I did know that one of the bowl games will be at Fenway Park. I did hear that a couple weeks ago, but I do not know the teams in that bowl game. I heard rumors that Boston College were maybe going to be in it, but I have no idea which teams were selected to play in that game. Sending it wide now is Alfredo Morales. Morales. Tavon Gray. He'll head it down to Medina. Chipping one into the middle. Hebert couldn't settle, and now clearing is Matt Freese. 9 minutes played in the second half of action. Maxi Morales. And now New York City starting to come alive a bit. But that's a great intervention by Oliver Mbaizo. Captain play. And now Shabilko trying to chase it down, but stepping in for New York was Chano. What's good, Nate? Welcome in. Hope you're doing good, Nate. Glad to see you here. as Gray finds James Sands. This will be sent out wide on the left wing. Cross delivered. Hebert now played back, deflected shot, but Freeze is there. Jesus Medina with a golden chance. But Freeze makes the stop. What's good, Hugo? Welcome in. Yeah, Nate, happy that your Cowboys won. Yeah, there you go. I'm excited for Patriots Bills tomorrow night, which I will be on the call for. Who has been the better team, Hugo? It's tough to say. New York have had slightly more of the possession, but Philadelphia have had more chances. So I'd have to say the Union, quite honestly. Yeah, Philadelphia surprisingly have been the better team. I mean, they've made New York City a bit uncomfortable at times. NYCFC just really haven't been themselves, in my opinion. So I would say Philly. And that's surprising considering they're without 11 players who are on COVID protocol. Oh, right, Nate. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Lucci is now is heading to the U.S. men's national team for to be the assistant. Yep. 11, Hugo. Yeah, 11 players are missing for Philadelphia, including the likes of, Andre Blake, Jacob Glesnes, Sergio Santos. Like, we're not just talking about 11 11 players with many of them being from the bench. No, we're talking about some of their key players, and I just named a few of them. So yeah, this is a very inexperienced starting 11. For example, Aurelian Collin, the starting center back, as that shot's fired in from a tight angle just over the bar for New York City. It was a Munson with the opportunity. But as I was saying, like Aurelian Collin, the center back for Philadelphia in this game, he's played 1 minute in the last 2 seasons heading into today, which is crazy. And an 18-year-old is starting in Jack McGlynn. New York City, though, will be the ones to make their first substitutions, I should say. They'll make 3 changes actually here. So Tajori Shradi comes in for Medina. Meanwhile, it'll be Magno coming on for Hebert. And I'll get the other substitution in a moment. I missed it. But yeah, 3 changes from Ronnie Dyla. You think his name is Nico? Yeah, I saw somewhere the announcement of the new coach, but I'm blanking on his name. Can't remember. Oh, Munson also came out, and he was replaced by Thorarensen. So Thorarensen has come on. Sorry, Thorarensen. Thorarensen is the pronunciation. He's an Icelandic international. Yeah, that's true, Hugo. That's true. They do have a decent amount of depth, no doubt about it. I mean, the fact that they're putting up a great fight and have arguably been the better team is quite impressive. We are a minute away from the hour mark and still scoreless in the Eastern Conference Final. Chanel will clip this one down the sideline. One back by the Union. Shabilko trying to play it in the middle. New York City intercept. Tajori Shradi. Heavy challenge in there, but no foul as James Sands went down. We play on. Who will get the breakthrough? Tajori Shradi. Looking wide. It's now on the left flank. Cross for Thor Aronson. Philadelphia do well. Get it out of their box. Still some pressure here from Magno. It's played up the sideline and out for a New York City throw-in. 30 minutes to go in regulation. And all of a sudden, New York City's starting to come alive. Much more than earlier in the half. And Tajori Shradi will win the throw-in. Tavon Gray to take it. Gray gets the return pass. No foul. He was trying to get the whistle, but instead it's a goal kick. Let's see here. I don't know. There was contact. Definitely could have been called, I believe, but Chet Uncle said no, as Matt Freese takes the goal kick for Philly. Not the best header from Alfredo Morales. Subaru Park in Chester, Pennsylvania, the location for this Eastern Conference final matchup. What's good, John? We got John in the house. Welcome in, man. Hope you're doing well. Glad to see you here on this Sunday afternoon, evening, whatever you want to call it. It's crazy how it's already pitch dark outside when it's only 4:30, but that's just how it is in December. Yeah, Pats tomorrow. Absolutely, man. I'm fired up. Yep, I will be on the call for that. Patriots, Bills. Do not miss it. Huge game coming up. Here is Jamiro Montero. Now Gazdag. Oh, it's in! The Philadelphia Union take the lead. Kasper Shabilko. 63rd minute in Subaru Park is jumping right now. Against all odds, it's the Union in front. Gazdag the cross, Shabilko the finish. And the breakthrough goal has arrived at last. Unbelievable. An undermanned Union side has taken the lead. A great service by Gazdag, and Shabilko just really beating out the defender. Callens was right with them. And that's actually going to be an own goal. Callens was the one who got the touch. I thought it was Shabilko in real time, but that was Callens sending it into the back of his own goal inadvertently. But credit to Shabilko for applying the pressure and ultimately forcing Callens to make a play on it. And good things happen when you do things like that, like Shabilko did, applying the pressure on the defender. And what do you know? It's the Union in the lead. One 0, and now New York City playing from behind. Yeah, I saw that Man U one, John. Yep. Here's New York City. A shot from distance, saved by Freese. The rebound at the back post, and there's the equalizer. It's a tie game in the blink of an eye, and it's Maxi Morales. 1-1, 65th minute, and this game has just opened up completely. all square as there were shouts for offside by Philadelphia players. VAR will certainly take a look, but as of now, we're all tied up. Philadelphia just couldn't clear, and it fell perfectly for Maxi Morales at the back post. A strike from distance, which had a lot of movement on it, forced Freeze to make the save, but the rebound conceded. The Union couldn't get it out, and Maxi Morales lurking at the back post. A composed finish in the end as Tajori Shradi tried to get the original rebound. Morales settling and just firing one home at the near post. An absolute cannon. And it's game on. The goal has been confirmed by VAR. No offside. And what a game here. Maximiliano Morales, 4th goal of the season, including the playoffs. He scored earlier in the postseason against Atlanta in the opening round. And wow, what a wild turn of events. That was quick indeed. This comes wide for Tavon Gray. Gray keeps it in play and commits an obvious foul on Nathan Harriel. My, oh my, 1-1 in Chester, Pennsylvania. Subaru Park was still jumping after the goal when New York City quickly answered the call. Free kick taken. Looked like a possible high boot, but play continues. And now down the left wing, it's Shabilko. Shabilko combining well. He's still going. And now it's a ball clipped in, but settled by Johnson. Collided with Chino, but they are just fine. 3/4 of the match played, and still a whole lot to be decided. No one there on the pass out wide. Philadelphia will have a throw-in. Throwing down the line off of Maxime Chanel. Harriel will take it. Tavon Gray will have to chase this one down, and he's not going to get there. That's a corner kick for the Union, and the crowd back on their feet. Golden chance coming. It's played short. Now back it comes. Dangerous cross by Montero. Edge of the area. And the effort from, I believe, Thorarensen is sent wide. A nervous crowd on hand with so much on the line. This is Santi Rodriguez. And now in the space is Tajuri Shradi. The substitute has time. Now plays it ahead for Tavon Gray. Back to Tajuri Shradi. Shradi Trying to clip one in, but it's dealt with by the Union. '70th minute, 1-1. What's good, J.A.? Welcome in. Here's Santi Rodriguez. Dangerous ball, but Gray misfired. And now a foul, surely. And it will be called by Ted Uncle. Taken down was Martinez, and Martinez is getting into it here. And a card is going to be shown. A yellow card. Second booking of the game. Yeah, I'm doing the Pats game tomorrow. Absolutely, absolutely, man. Yep. Can't wait, man. Fired up for that. So the yellow card was shown to Santi Rodriguez. Maxi Morales, the only other player to be booked up until this point. No Philadelphia players have been cautioned up until this point. All right, sounds awesome, man. Can't wait. Oh, Mike, yeah, man. I bet you are a devastated Vikings fan. I heard what happened. A last-second touchdown for Detroit. That is rough, man. That is rough. Jamiro Montero goes down, and free kick awarded to Philadelphia. Plenty of Philadelphia substitutes warming up, including Paxton Aronson, who can definitely be an impact maker. His brother, of course, is Brendan Aronson, who lit it up with the Union in MLS before making the move to RB Salzburg in Austria, where he's been playing very well. And that free kick, a wasted one. It's all the way over the end line for a goal kick. All right, Mike. Yeah, hopefully you can cope tonight, man. That's a rough way to lose, especially to the Lions. But I appreciate you stopping by. '73rd minute. And that's turned over in the middle. Philadelphia on the ball. A nice turn by Montero. McGlynn. Jose Martinez. Wide it comes to Gazdag. Gazdag, the right idea, but not the execution. Trying to play it forward for Aronson. MLS Cup will be Saturday, 3 Eastern time, where Portland take on the winner of this one. And we do know that game will be in Portland, Oregon at Providence Park, no matter what happens here. Maxi Morales. Alfredo Morales tripped up, and that will be a yellow card to Mbaizo. First booking for a Philadelphia player. Ted Uncle trying to calm down the situation. Third yellow card of the game. And probably the right decision. Here comes the Philadelphia change, and it will be Jack McGlynn coming off. This is actually the first change of the game for the Union. Came a lot later than I anticipated, to be honest, but here we go. McGlynn off, and it's Bueno coming on. Are there hooligan fans in American football like in European football? Not really, no. I no, not nearly as bad as, European football. European football have the most, passionate fans. So I wouldn't say no, not necessarily. I mean, there are certainly very passionate American football fans, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't classify them as, hooligan fans. Here's the cross, header saved. Freeze keeps it out. What a stop by the Philadelphia keeper. New York City not done. Cross sent in, settled by Magno, and he turns around and fires it over the bar. The number 3 goalkeeper for Philadelphia showing that he's capable. Got a right hand to it on a dangerous look for New York City. I think it last touched the head of Colin, actually, and that's a phenomenal save by Matt Freese. Under 15 minutes remain in a 1-1 game, Eastern Conference Final. And that's a wretched pass. Now for a Philly throw. Well, New York City were so close to taking their first lead, but it was Freese having other ideas as the Philadelphia goalkeeper. Thanks, everyone, for your company today, and what a game it's been, with the winner moving on to MLS Cup. Up the right wing, it's Gray. Now to Jori Shradi. Closed down and has it stolen. Back it goes to New York City. Alfredo Morales playing it into space. Down the left wing, it's Thor Aronson. To Jori Shradi. Couldn't connect with Magno. Now looking to win it back. But he can't. It's Shabilko looking for help. Clean tackle as Shabilko goes down in pain. Clutching his right ankle. Play continues meanwhile, but now it'll be stopped as Ted Uncle checks on the injured player. Oh, yeah, that should have been a foul right there. He got stomped on. It wasn't the ankle, it was actually the studs of Callens going right on the laces of Shabilko. And I can tell you from experience, that does not feel pleasant at all. Shabilko will try to shake it off as he heads to the sideline. Getting ready to take the free kick for New York is Chino. Chino back for Johnson. 80th minute. We're coming down to the wire here at Subaru Park. That was a nice read by Colin. Colin's gone much longer in this game than I expected him to. For a guy that's played 1 minute in 2 years, not bad. He's gone 80 strong so far. That will be a foul. Called against Shabilko, who's clearly disgruntled about the decision. He's yelling at the referee right now. He is not happy at all. And now Shabilko's down for the Union. New York City are going to continue. And now Shabilko back to his feet. Well, Shabilko seems to be in all of the big challenges in the last few minutes. Oh, and there's a big one right there. James Sands coming in on Gazdag. And Gazdag is now down. You can tell the intensity is picking up by the minute. But we play on to Jori Shradi taking the throw-in. He'll go back for freeze as Philadelphia originally played it out, so Gazdag could be attended to. So New York City doing the morally right thing. It's out for an NYCFC throw. Oh, it's a great ball to Jori Shradi connecting with Santi Rodriguez. Now Thor Aronson on the left wing. Back for Maxi. Morales to Thor Aronson. Back for Morales. And that's going to be offside. Yep, there it is. Philadelphia were not happy about the delayed call, but the right decision was eventually made. Freeze to take the free kick. 83rd minute now in a tie game. And it's Gazdag going all the way back, or Finley going all the way back for freeze. That will be a foul called against the Union. Shabilko is getting more and more furious with every call that he feels is going against him. Tavon Gray on the ball. Sands. Maxi Morales. This is Tajori Shradi. Place it into Gray. Gray's cross beyond everyone. It'll be tracked down at the other end by Thor Aronson. He finds Morales trying to chip one into the box, but Collins' header has Philadelphia back in possession, and here they come. The Union trying to get numbers forward. It's sent wide by Montero. Montero gets it back from Shabilko. But he can't quite get around Chanel. And it'll be off of Montero, throw into NYCFC. Aronson and Fontanas, both good options off the bench for Jim Curtin. But it has, the fact that this game could be heading to extra time has to be a factor on Jim Curtin's mind. You do get one extra substitute in extra time, but still, you have to play strategically. 5 minutes until stoppage time. Collin comes in with the header. And that's a nice first touch from Harriel. Leon Flack. That's good combination play, but Shabilko couldn't quite get the return pass to Flack. One back by Montero. This ball chipped into the box. Getting a touch was Chino. And that'll be a Union throw-in. Well, this crowd is living every moment right now. Collin. Now Martinez. Here's the header. Oh, it's just over the bar. That was Philly's chance right there. A golden chance for the right back Nathan Harriel. And the fans on hand can't believe that missed opportunity. A leaping header, and he just couldn't keep it low enough. Sean Johnson caught frozen. And now here come NYCFC. It's Maxi Morale. No, Tajori Shradi going wide with it. Not enough on the pass. Sliding in was Finley to intervene. It's out for a New York throw. What an ending we're in store for. Throw-in goes to Tajori Shradi. And now Santi Rodriguez. Chano on the right side with Gray. Gray's in swinger, cleared by Collin. Philadelphia just trying to stay disciplined at the back. Can't afford any mistakes now. It's moved into the middle. Going wide is Morales, staying with his Thor Aronson. He'll send it across! And inside the 6-yard box, it's Magno, the substitute, putting New York City in front for the first time this evening. A stunned crowd watches New York City celebrate a second consecutive goal. And it comes in the 88th minute. What a moment for NYCFC. Ronnie Dyla's substitutions pay off as the Brazilian Thais Magno makes the run inside the 6. It was just the first one to the ball. And it was Thor Aronson, another sub, creating this chance in front of goal. Just beating Mbaizo to it. Setting up Magno, who made no mistake. And it's NYCFC leading 2-1. Wow, oh wow. What a moment. And the Union simply shocked as they'll make a change. It's now desperation time for Jim Curtin as Fontana will come in for Philly. And they need some late game heroics now. Harriel, the one coming out. So an attacking minded substitution. Aronson has also come into the match for Flack. So there you go. New York City now trying to see this one out, and that will be a foul against Philly. We're 20 seconds away from stoppage time. And there is the board. 4 minutes will be added on at the end of the 90 here. And the New York City fans who made the trip to Philadelphia are making all the noise right now inside Subaru Park. Tajori Shradi thinking about heading towards the corner. Instead, he sends Maxi Morales in. It could be a third. Morales! Oh, he puts it wide. A tight angle. He went for all the glory. Couldn't put it on target. Now the goal kick for Freeze. 3 minutes remaining. Header flicked on, a collision, no foul. Comes back Philadelphia's way. Colin with a good header. Header flicked on by Shabilko, but it's picked up by Sean Johnson. Philadelphia just absolutely stunned at the moment, needing a goal. It's out of play for a Union throw. Quickly taking it is Jose Martinez. This will be sent way downfield by Freeze. About 2 minutes left in this one. And that's a foul. Taken down was Tajori Shradi. Yeah, Jeffrey, as I said earlier, I will be doing the game tomorrow. Yep, I will be on the call for that. Patriots Bills should be a good one. Can't wait. 90 seconds left. NYCFC taking plenty of time here on the free kick. It's taken by Chanel. What time is the Pats game? It's 8:15 tomorrow night, Nate. Well, 7:15 your time. 8:15 Eastern, 7:15 Central. Same time as Monday Night Football every week. And here chasing this one down is Maxi Morales, but he's not going to get there. Philadelphia looking for one last gasp effort. Edge of the box. It's settled by Montero. And Philadelphia asking for a penalty, but they're not going to get it. Going down was Fontana. Goal kick awarded, and Finley is yelling at the referee now. And Chanel might have said something that got on their nerves. Yeah, Finley and Chanel were in a challenge, and that's why Chanel got a little aggravated. He wasn't happy about it. Final whistle any moment now. And there it is. New York City FC are Eastern Conference champions and are heading to the 2021 MLS Cup. It is all over, folks. A comeback win for NYCFC. And they will head cross country to face the Portland Timbers in the MLS Cup. What a game that should be. Philadelphia bow out of the playoffs in devastating fashion. They had the lead in this one, but fall just short in the end. And the MLS Cup is set. New York City versus Portland. It'll be Saturday, 3 Eastern time at Providence Park in Portland, Oregon. Well, NYCFC in back-to-back weeks as the lower seed wins on the road, first beating the Revolution and now beating Philadelphia, and the celebrations are just getting started. A tough evening for Philly, who were down 11 players who were on COVID protocol. Tati Castellanos, who was suspended for this one for NYCFC after his red card against New England, now onto the field to celebrate with his teammates. And how about that Magno, the hero for New York City, the substitute, getting the game-winning goal. And I'll tell you what, all 3 substitutes, Thor Aronson, Tajori Shradi, and Magno, all made a big impact, I thought, in the second half when they came onto the pitch. So Ronnie Dyla has to be given credit because his changes made a big impact and quite honestly proved to be the difference, because it was a different team in the second half from New York City than what we saw in the first half. What a huge result for NYCFC. Yeah, I saw that, Jeffrey. I did see that, yeah. Well, that'll do it for my broadcast, everybody. What an Eastern Conference final it was. A come-from-behind win. New York City FC defeat the Philadelphia Union 2-1. And in 6 days' time, it'll be New York City FC at the Portland Timbers in the 2021 MLS Cup. I'll see you guys tomorrow night for Patriots Bills. Until then, have a wonderful rest of your Sunday evening.